The question of who governs the Antarctic is pretty simple on paper, but when you look a little bit into it, it gets really complicated really quickly in practice. So I found that the best way to answer this question was through investigating a murder mystery that happened on the Antarctic. So, the Antarctic today holds around 70 research stations, and you can find between 1,000 and 5,000 people staying there depending on season. On paper, we have the Antarctic Treaty, signed by 12 nations in 1959. This was a treaty that basically just says everyone should play nice. The Antarctic is supposed to be only for peaceful purposes, so primarily science, but absolutely no army stuff. After that, as nations started building research bases, they formed a group of 29 nations called the ATCP. This group makes decisions about Antarctica by voting. So far, so good. Here's the map with research stations and claimed land. 7 nations claim they own land there, but, nobody cares. Basically, USA and Russia have said they don't recognize any claims, and if they want to claim land, they will do it, probably with their armies in tow. There are also a few international agreements that spell out rules, mainly for the preservation of natural resources, such as those cute penguins and Antarctic seals. But what does this mean in practice? What would happen if you killed someone in unclaimed land? Well, most people are there as part of a research program, so you'd probably stand trial in your country of origin or that of the nation sponsoring the research station you belong to. Yes, I say probably because there aren't any real hard and fast rules. The best way, I think, to figure out who governs Antarctica is by looking at a practical example. In year 2000, an astrophysicist named Rodney Marks mysteriously died. He was an Australian citizen contracted through a New Zealand organization working at an American research station. So the Americans enforced their jurisdiction. The American National Science Foundation simply listed the cause of death as natural causes and refused an autopsy. Investigators from New Zealand wanted to work on the case, but the Americans blocked them from accessing the scene. They just said, no, you can't come in. And doing interviews or getting evidence, none of that. Go away. After 6 months of being stored in the snow, they finally flew his body to New Zealand. An autopsy found that he died from methanol poisoning, and nobody knows how that happened. It was maybe bootleg alcohol during, lonely winter, or maybe even murder. Australia never even played a role, but maybe because of close ties to New Zealand. So it's really, who even knows what rules apply? Even the treaty itself is a bit of a farce. The parties who signed it wanted to recognize their own territorial claims, but not those of other nations, while the text is universal for all nations, for everyone. So that's obviously absurd. And so it contains a hilarious bit of text that basically says, we are not talking about this issue, but by not talking about it, we are not changing anything either. It's just ridiculous. Doesn't make sense. So ultimately, things are the way they are because nobody is super interested in governing Antarctica. There's just nothing there except animals. So, however, if a lot of oil was found, an international crisis would be sure to follow, and the diplomatic negotiations would include cancellations of treaties, political blackmail, and the army stepping in. Personally, I think the 15 million penguins that live there pretty much govern the place. It's their place. Humans are just in the way. Hey, you made it all the way to the end of the video. I hope you liked it. It's one of my first videos. I have no idea what YouTube likes. So I guess clicking that button might tell me something. And subscribing, that would be crazy. So whatever. It's good to have you here and hope to see you in the next one. Yep.